Today, I want to give you some different ideas on how to organize your watercolor palette. A well-organized palette can really boost your efficiency, keep your colors clean, and help you create better, more harmonious color mixes. So let's dive into some common palette layouts and why they might work for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. First off, why does palette organization even matter? Well, having a logical setup saves you time and it helps prevent muddy colors. It also reinforces your understanding of color theory, whether you're mixing complementary colors or balancing warm and cool tones. Ultimately, how you organize your palette depends on your personal painting style and the colors you use most frequently. Let's go through a few common layouts that could streamline your process. For my round palettes, I arrange my colors like a color wheel. I start with a cool yellow at the top and move anti-clockwise through warm yellows, warm reds, cool reds, warm blues, and finally cool blues. And here I've got some earthy colors. This creates a split primary palette, which helps me mix secondary colors more easily. In some of these remaining wells around the outside, I've got some more earthy tones and colors like Payne's Grey. This split primary palette works for me because the temperature of colors has a big impact on how they mix together. And having both warm and cool versions of each primary gives me more flexibility to create vibrant mixes or subtle muted tones. For example, mixing a warm red with a cool blue results in a richer, deeper purple, while a cool yellow with a cool blue will give me a clean, bright green. It's all about controlling the temperature and getting the exact effect I want for each painting. With a large palette and many colors, some artists use a waterproof pen to label the colors directly on the palette to keep track of what's where. I prefer to write the colors in a journal, noting them in the order that they're placed on the palette. I also create a Word document that lists the colors in order, along with their pigment characteristics. The next idea I'll show you is the complementary color layout. But before we get into that, I want to take a moment to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community, especially for creative people like us. They have thousands of classes taught by professionals covering everything from illustration and design to productivity, photography, and lots more. Whether you're looking to learn something new or refine your existing skills, it's the ideal place to grow as an artist. I've come across lots of inspiring classes that have had a big impact on my creative journey, and I'm really enjoying a class called Start Your Creative Career, Build a Sharp, Smart Online Presence by Sonia Rizula. It's great if you're looking to grow or even just start a creative business. Sonia breaks everything down in a super approachable way, sharing her journey from corporate burnout to building a successful business. In this class, you'll learn essential skills like understanding website and social media metrics, creating a brand Bible, and designing an engaging website, which are key tools for any creative business. If you're keen to learn watercolor, I've created 14 classes on Skillshare that explore a range of techniques and subjects that I think you'll love. They're designed to help you build confidence in your painting and try out new ideas. Plus, there are loads of fantastic painting classes from other teachers as well. So you'll have plenty of options to fuel your creativity and find inspiration. If you haven't looked at Skillshare before, now's a good chance to give it a go. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a 1-month free trial. It's a great way to dive into new skills or explore some fresh creative passions. So use the link, jump in and see what it's all about. Okay, back to the palettes. Let's talk about the complementary colors layout. You could try this idea on a rectangular palette. This is where you place complementary pairs opposite each other. So yellow across from violet, red across from green, and blue across from orange or earthy tones. Complementary colours are opposite each other on the colour wheel, and when mixed together, they create more neutral or muted shades. This layout is perfect if you like to neutralise colours for shadows or tone down saturation in your paintings. Having the pairs opposite each other makes it so easy to find and mix the right combinations quickly. It definitely helps streamline your mixing and keeps your colours working harmoniously together. So experiment with the colours you have, mix them together, see what kind of neutral shades they create, and check out how they look side by side. Once you've found some complementary pairs that you really like, try placing them opposite each other on your palette. That way you'll always know where they are and it'll be easy to grab them and mix with them when you need them. Another option is grouping your colours by temperature. Warm colours like yellows, oranges and reds go on one side, while colours like blues and greens are on the other. This makes it easier to find the right tone when you're working on shadows or highlights. By grouping them, you can quickly grab the right temperature for the effect you're going for, whether you're adding warmth to a focal point or cooling down an area to push it back. Some artists like to group their colours by transparency. Transparent pigments are great for layering and glazing, while opaque colours are better for bold final touches. By separating them, you can control the effects in your painting more easily. Opaque pigments can sometimes make paint mixes look muddier or less vibrant. By keeping opaque pigments grouped together and separate from your transparent pigments, you'll know exactly where they are, helping you avoid accidentally mixing them in when you want clean, luminous layers. Now, how much paint should you actually put on your palette? Personally, I only squeeze a small amount into each well because I prefer working with fresh paint. If there's any left over, it hardens in the palette and I re-wet it when I want to use that colour. But when I mix colours, I usually squirt fresh paint on top of the hardened pigment. I find it easier to mix with fresh pigment because it helps me get to the exact colour I want more easily. Once I have the right mix, I add water to adjust the value. Some artists like to fill the paint wells and then re-wet the paint as they go. Both methods work, it just depends on what suits you best. Others prefer to leave an empty well between each colour on their palette to avoid contamination. The extra space helps keep pigments clean and prevents accidental mixing. Personally, I don't worry about that. I just fill each well and keep painting. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to set up your palette. It's all about finding what works for your painting style and makes your workflow smoother. I hope this gave you some ideas on how to organise your own palette. Let me know in the comments how you set yours up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. So let's dive into some common palette layout. Let's go through a few common layouts. While a cool yellow with a cool blue will give me so you'll have plenty of options to fuel your creativity. It's going so well. I was going so well. Let's explore a range of techniques and subjects. Once you've found some complementary pairs that you really like, try pacing them. Try pacing them. Pace them. Place to avoid camination. Do you know what camination is?
No idea.